Hi, everyone. I'm Steve. I'm here with David Wright. David is a personal trainer at Parkway Athletic Club in Carson City. Thanks for being here, David.
Thanks for having me, Steve.
All right, so we're going to talk about um, obstacles to eating healthy. And one of the biggest obstacles is not planning ahead for your meals or what you're going to do. So we'll talk about that. First, if you guys like interviews with personal trainers, doctors, nutritionists, subscribe to the channel. And if you're interested in our weight loss program, which David is one of our lead nutrition coaches, use the promo code on the screen there, or there's a description, or there's a link in the description you can hit. That'll take you to a place where you can fill out a questionnaire or just find out more about our weight loss program. So the biggest thing, I'll start with the biggest thing I think of that's an obstacle about meal planning, and you don't plan and you miss something and then you get hungry and you eat something you shouldn't. That's my biggest thing. So what are your first thoughts on this, David?
Yeah, I would totally agree with that. That thought is one of the things that comes to my mind as well, basically because it happens to everybody. It's happened to me, I don't know how many times, and I eat, really well, as you know, and if I don't plan ahead, things like that can also happen to me. So definitely agree with that one. I think another one is a lot of dietary restrictions, picky eaters, things like that. We think that, in order to eat healthy, we have to eat all of these things that don't taste good or they're tasteless or we're really, really picky. And when I say picky, it's, what, there's a lot of things that I don't like or don't want to eat. So you've got to find a way to find things you do like to eat that are healthy and do those. So it's really important to have the right type of meal planning, the right type of nutrition advice, because otherwise, not only are you going to, not plan ahead necessarily, but then also on the second point, you're just not going to want to do it because it's got these things that you're not inspired, you're not motivated to do it because it's just stuff you don't like. So I think, if you're kind of a more picky eater, which some people are, or you have dietary restrictions for, medical reasons, then, you have to find meal planning that's going to work with that because that's going to allow you to kind of move forward and actually want to do it. And that's what we offer at Parkway Athletic Club.
Okay, so let's give people kind of some ideas on what they can do to plan or prevent this just getting hungry and then making mistakes. So I know that your strategies are different than most people because you're a competitor. My strategies are different because we're so into this, we're nuts. And we don't expect people to be as strict as we do. I go out on Friday night, I'll have a couple of cocktails, but that's it. We're very strict with what we put in our mouth. But give me some strategies that you maybe suggest for the average person who just wants to get started. What can they do? Strategies.
So I think one of the most important strategies, especially to be prepared, is to know that you do need to be prepared. And I know that sounds redundant, but it really isn't, because that's one of the things is people, a lot of times when they're trying to start eating healthy and they're trying to make better choices, they don't really understand that being that one step ahead of yourself is going to help you in the long run. And what I mean by that is, like with our meal plans that we do here as an example, you've got that whole day set out for you. So if you make all of those meals or put all those ingredients together so that you can grab it, put it together, or grab it, eat it, whatever the case might be, it's a healthy meal plan. You're already ready for the entire day. So you have all of this stuff ready to go rather than maybe making one meal at a time throughout the day. And then, things happen. You have an emergency, you have to stay later at work, whatever the case might be, and you're not prepared with maybe bringing your food to work, which of course, Steve, you've seen me and people who work here see me. I bring my big old lunch bag with my food in it. I'm a little more prepared than some people are, but to a different degree, when you're starting a nutrition, just trying to eat better, you always want to have something. Like if you're at work, for example, and you don't like maybe go home for lunch, you stay at work pretty much the whole time, like a lot of people do. Bring that food with you so you won't be tempted to go to the restaurant down the street or, the food truck that's outside or whatever. Bring that with you because then you're not taking a step back every single day when you're at work or when you're somewhere that maybe you don't traditionally bring your food. that's the thing you need to start thinking about is, simple things of, do I have like a meal, like lunch bag? Doesn't have to be a giant one like I have, just a regular lunch bag. You throw in your meals or your ingredients, whatever the case might be, that you can throw together at once. Make it easy for yourself. And that's how you do it, is you bring that stuff with you. Then it makes that choice really, really simple when it comes to, hey, I'm hungry. Oh, wait, look, I've got my meals. Maybe I'm not used to having my meals, but now I've got something new to get used to, which is I do have this food with me. I don't have to worry about making the choice to go to the taco truck, because guess what? I've got this food here. So it's all about being, not only having a great meal plan, but also when you execute that meal plan, it's get that stuff ready for the whole day. And that way you can just take that stuff and go. Because the easier it is, the more successful you'll be. Because if something's a chore, you're not going to want to do it, or you won't stick to it for the long term.
Well, I know people listening to this are thinking that that's boring, that's not living, because so many people, their life revolves around eating. And I think a simple thing is, like, you eat. I know that you do this. You know exactly what time you're going to eat.
Absolutely. I
So
I love that.
if people would just start like that, if you're an older person, I guess you could call me older, but I'm really fit. So if you're my age, maybe you decide, hey, I'm going to eat at 10 o'clock in the morning, and I'm going to eat at 4:30, and I'm going to eat 2 meals, and I'm going to get this much protein. If you do that, now you have a plan. Now, the first thing you have to do is just be disciplined to eat at 10 o'clock and 4:30. If you're disciplined, and you can eat at 8 o'clock and 1 o'clock and 6 o'clock if you want. I'm just giving you an example. But if I know I'm going to eat at 10 o'clock and I'm going to eat at 4 o'clock, that, and I have the discipline to do that, that forces me to be prepared. Hey, I got to eat in an hour. That forces you to take the next step. And I know it sounds probably more boring than hard, but once you get some wins under your belt, people hear me say this all the time. Hey, I lost 10 pounds. Then it starts to get fun. And then, you start to maybe even see some abs. Then it's not so boring anymore. It starts to become fun and say, hey, I want to get in the gym. I want to lift more. I want to go on a walk. And you start feeling better and you get momentum. So that's the key. So, David, any last thoughts or tips that you would give to people on avoiding the obstacles that keep you from eating healthy?
Yeah, Steve, I think, among all the other things we've talked about today, one of the other ones is it's really important to understand that a lot of these obstacles that we face, or that we think we're going to face, it's usually all more of a mental game for ourselves. So what I mean by that, it's a mental block of, I don't think I'll be able to eat that much. I don't know if I'm going to be able to prepare enough food. I don't know about XYZ details, right? Before we even get started, we have these mental blocks because it's a change of our lifestyle. What we're trying to do is change our lifestyle. So, you know, to kind of break down those mental barriers that we put on ourselves, and everybody does it in one form or another in different ways, but, you know, do these simple things. Again, like eating, I'll eat at, you know, 8 o'clock in the morning, and then again at 1:30, and then again at 4 something. So, with my schedule, sometimes those times will be a little bit different. It's not a big deal. But the whole point is, get the times down, to an extent where you're going to be able to eat. Or here's another tip. I have some clients who, have jobs where maybe they have like one time per day, a nurse as an example. They're running around doing all these things. They'll probably get a lunch, but that's like the only guaranteed time they'll have. It's like, okay, well then here's what we help you with the meal plan. Let's get you some snacks that are super easy for you to eat in, you know, 2, 3 minutes, so you can get some protein, some good fats, things like that. And you can take a couple of those to work. What's the common theme? Take that food with you so that you don't go either not eating enough food and being malnourished because you're on your feet all the time and things like that, or going and again, the taco truck outside because it's fast, convenient, and tasty, but it's not going to give you any nutrients. So be prepared. So prepare your body, prepare your meals. It sounds sort of boring, but really it's one of the best things that you can do for yourself because it helps you stay on track. So I would just say for anybody who's kind of doubting that they'd be able to do this, or it seems like a lot, it's really not. It's just something different to get used to. So if your routine right now is, pick up that donut in the morning and then at lunch find a place to eat, and then gosh, maybe get a drink at a coffee shop, on your lunch, and then after work, well, I'm kind of tired, so I'm going to go to this pizza joint. That's a routine for you. So just change that routine to something different. So, and I can also pretty much guarantee 100% you change that routine from those types of foods to what we're talking about, you're going to have a lot more energy when you get off work, when you're at lunch. That 1 o'clock fall asleep type of thing that people tend to have when their nutrition is just not great, and we don't move around a lot. We get that midday crash. You're not going to get that anymore. So just make those plans and follow through with it, and just really push yourself because you can do it. It's just your brain a lot of times saying all of these reasons why you shouldn't, can't, all of that, and don't listen to that. Just do it anyway and see how it works for you.
Yeah, just do it anyway. I have to say, your way sounds absolutely like no fun, but you have to change your lifestyle. And I'll say this, even though it doesn't sound fun, I guarantee you it's worth it. It's worth it to feel better and to feel good. Get in the gym also. So, David, if people want to follow you, see what you're doing with your shows, your contests and stuff, how do they follow you on social media?
So, Steve, they can follow me on Instagram at DavidWright_fitness. So it goes back a long way with my shows all the way back to 2015 till where I'm at now and what I'm doing. So that's definitely a great way to kind of keep track of that. And then at Right Fitness Training, also on Instagram for more of a personal training side of things.
All right. Thanks for being with us, David.
Thanks, Steve.